Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So let me get some cards ready for us. All right. I feel like this is good. All right, guys. I asked what we're going to talk about, and what I heard is the break you've waited for. So you guys have probably been having a rough time with something. I don't know what, but with something. And as you've struggled through whatever the process is that you're in, you've wanted a break from it, which, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Okay. Let me focus because gotta be done fast. Gotta be efficient today. All right. Ooh, I'm feeling like a shifting energy right now, and the energy feels annoyed. It ain't me. It ain't my energy. All right. Oh my goodness. Didn't want to shuffle. Okay. That's a lot. Okay, final deck. Here goes. So let's see what is happening here. Oh, wait. Oh. Okay. Here goes. That was weird. I didn't realize I needed to refresh my TikTok page. Okay, we're ready now. Let's get started, guys. So what kind of break are we going to have? Oh, I like that. Okay. So there's a little bit of adversity. This has been a period of adversity really since I'd say 2020 for most people. So what's new, right? Well, I'll tell you what's new. You're going to be stepping into your power in such a way that's undeniable to you. And as you step into your power, what's going to end up happening is you're going to begin to understand just how much authority you have over yourself in your life. That's necessary at this point. It's necessary for all of us to get to a point where we recognize just how much of a say we have in what we experience and how we experience it. Once you begin to experience the degree of authority you have over yourself in your life, you can't go back to a space of thinking you have no say and that you have no power or authority over yourself. So this is absolutely necessary, right? In order for us to get to that space where we recognize just how powerful we actually are and how much of a say we have over our lives, this is something we kind of have to go through on our own. You're not going to have a guardian. You're not going to have a guide. You're not going to have the familiar that you're accustomed to having, so that you can recognize you did this all on your own. You did this yourself. You're the only one, the only thing that deserves the credit for what you're able to accomplish in this period. Now, this period is going to have you experiencing some degree of instability. And some might be like, well, then how am I stepping into my power? Okay, relax. So I'm thinking, and I like to view life in terms of like workouts and things like that, right? So if you have weak feet or a weak ankle, weak proprioception ability, what's the best, most powerful way you can strengthen yourself? By working with unstable surfaces. Go on a Bosu ball. It's like a half ball on a platform, and it's very unstable. You can either step on it with a platform flat, the flat part on the floor, and you're stepping on the ball part, that's a little bit easier to manage. Or you could flip it over and have the round half ball portion on the floor and you step on the flat part. And so now there's a lot more movement, a lot more instability. And as you experience that instability, you begin to be aware of your body's positioning. So, as we experience this emotional, energetic type of instability, what happens? We begin to be aware of how we are not properly positioned to further our healing, our growth, welcoming in our abundance, all these really beautiful, powerful things that we need in order to reassure ourselves that we're exactly where we need to be. And, it's a process. It's definitely a process. For some of us, we need the intensification to occur simply because unless it's super intense, we don't notice that we're supposed to be learning something. That's not a bad thing. I found that whenever life intensifies, whenever the lesson gets um, far more intensive, that's giving you an opportunity to learn something on an elevated, expanded level. The potentiality is elevating, it's expanding, it's amplifying, and the goodness that you can get from that experience is far more than what you were expecting. Far, far more than what you were expecting, right? So, in order for you to receive the largest benefit, for some of us, we need to become ungrounded. We need to kind of feel as though we've been uprooted from our comfortable space. Again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be an uncomfortable thing, it can be an inconvenient thing. But is it a bad thing every single time? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So, as you go through this, you're not going to have to rebirth yourself. This whole process is really about you recognizing how little you've allowed yourself to get to know yourself. The version of you that currently exists is the appropriate version of you that you need to get to the next part. There's just such a caca energy right now. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to clear that caca energy because I don't like it. And I'm kind of tired of being in Delulu land. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and play myself a little bit of music. If you would like to receive some of this clearing, go ahead and put the word clearing in the comments. The hell is all over me? My headphones are looking super thrashed. Ew. I think I need to get new ones. Well, girl, you've had these for quite a few years now. Okay. So let me go ahead. Let us see. Oh, I'm on YouTube as well. So that's going to present a little bit of a, that's just a little bit of a, let's see. Okay. Let's see if I like this. No. I like this. All right. So, because I've just about had it with not being proactive enough. So breathe deep and slow if you'd like to receive. Write clearing in the comments. How do you guys feel? I feel amazing. I feel amazing. All right. So there are things that are trying to prevent you from manifesting that which you truly desire, that which you truly and deeply deserve. And it's up to you if you're going to allow that or if you're going to do the necessary correction to clear all of that out of your space, right? I myself, I've been in a space of just kind of wafting along, you know, not really doing what needs to be done to negate and to clear because I just really, I don't want to deal with it. Just because you don't want to deal with it doesn't mean you have absolved yourself of your obligation to yourself in your field. You guys have seen me getting flustered with some, bugs here and there. I found out yesterday, I finally took the time to figure out what it is. It's not an attempt to breach my space. They're carpenter ants. They're carpenter ants, and I promptly purchased the appropriate materials to go ahead and eradicate the attempt of carpenter ants to see if my home is a viable new nest. It's very simple. It's very, very simple, right? You have to allow yourself to do what's necessary. And typically, the first thing that's necessary is to pause, reflect, observe, acknowledge. All of these different things take minimal effort, but they induce so much fear. The very thing that you're afraid of is the very thing that will help bring you back to a space of centeredness and peace. Now I know what it is I'm dealing with. It's not a black magic thing. It literally came from something that I did bring into my office. Um, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things, right? And my husband saying, "Oh, there's tons of them by the window." I saw about 4 of them, so there wasn't tons. There wasn't tons. It's going to be addressed appropriately. First, I'm going to do my part, which is go ahead and reseal that window just to make sure that nothing else comes in. And then if I continue to see even 1 or 2 here or there, we're going to be calling an extermination company. We need to make sure that the structure of the home is not already compromised. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. And if I allow myself to really look at it, the thing that was creating so much tension within me whenever I sit in my office, it should have been addressed a while ago. It should have. I should have looked up what it was, but I didn't want to because I don't like bugs, right? It was a simple search on my phone, simple search. Secondly, if I allow myself to really look at it, none of it has entered any other part of my home. There are parts of my home that are much warmer than my office, that have much more to offer carpenter ants than my office. Why in my office? Because even when I exist in a space of fear, imbalance, uncenteredness, living things who have the willingness to see truth, identify me as the safest space. So even when I'm afraid, I am formidable, I am powerful, I am safe. How wonderful to be reminded. How very wonderful to be reminded that even when you don't feel strong, when you don't feel capable, when you think you can't handle it, that's probably not your reality. It's probably what you perceive to be your reality. But what you perceive and the actuality are sometimes, oftentimes, two different things. Two different things. You might see yourself as a normal person, just the average normal person. Babe, if you're drawn to me, if you resonate with me, if you consistently find yourself sharing space with me and you don't know why, you are so far from normal and average. You are elevated in your purpose. And a large portion of your purpose is about attempting to facilitate the reestablishment of global peace. So people can interpret whatever I'm saying in whatever way they choose, using whatever filters of trauma and distortion they have. But the reality is this: what I am saying to all of you is we are all chosen. We are chosen to choose what our purpose will mean in this life. And I want my purpose to facilitate the return of global peace. I want my purpose to be hyper fixated on that singular thing of making sure everyone has their needs, basic needs of food, shelter, safety, and health addressed, honored, not just acknowledged, but honored, right? So people can receive these words in whatever way they want. I've clarified exactly what I mean. And I ask you to please give yourself the opportunity to recognize if you are consistently drawn to me, that's probably part of your purpose as well. This is the period where we are going to be able to take just a short break from all of that intensity that's cultivating the type of growth that we need, the type of increase and expansion of our maturity that is required of us to be able to serve in the way we were designed to serve the collective whole. If you want to identify as the chosen, you must clarify. If I ever identify myself as numbered among the chosen, I must clarify. I am numbered among the chosen servants who are here to serve the collective whole. But in my service to the collective whole, I am not asked or required to live in poverty. Neither are you. During this period where we're being given a break from all of this cognitive dissonance that is really rising up because we're seeing things and we're finding it very hard to remain tolerant of the injustice, the unfairness, the requirement of us to suffer and be treated poorly in order to prove our integrity and our worth. You're going to be given a break from that. And I hope you use this break to remind yourself of the beauty in the world. I hope you take this break to recognize how little you've been nourishing yourself because you've been convinced by someone outside of you that in order to help others, you must starve, you must be in poverty. That is a lie. Take a break from that program so that you can replenish, you can rest, you can take care of what needs to be taken care of about yourself. You can finally prioritize your health and your well-being. I tell you, demonic things never take a break. They're always looking for the next way they can infiltrate your space. They can present you these thoughts that are not yours and present it in such a way where you think it's you thinking this ugliness about yourself. No, I don't care if they won't take a break. I don't care. I don't care. Why? Because I'm focused on my growth. I'm focused on my healing. That's not a selfish thing. It's not a selfish thing to take this time where you're being given some quiet and really get yourself in your space of center. Allow all of that wisdom that you've been keeping from yourself. Why? See, look, wisdom in reverse. It's not that you're not wise. It's that you're so afraid of looking back at the things, the hardships you've experienced, because you're afraid that you're going to see that you deserved it. You started it. You were the problem. Babe, there was no problem. There was an opportunity to learn. There was an opportunity to grow. There was a point of adversity that you experienced, and that adversity was used to create the traction needed. The friction that you feel in your life is evidence of your movement and your growth. So take a breather. Take a breather. Allow yourself to recognize you've done tremendous amounts of work and you've earned the break. When I go to the gym and I work out anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours, sometimes 3.5 hours, about 6 days a week. And some people, when they work out, they'll do a set and then they'll take like a minute break. When I work out, I do one set of 15. As soon as that's done, like immediately I pick up and do another set of 15, and then another set of sometimes 20 to 30 different exercises. A superset is what usually when you do 2 different movements, 2 different sets back to back. And it creates a lot of time under tension. It creates a lot of potentiality for hypertrophy. I don't do that because I understand my body and the way I work and my intensity. I use it for my benefit. So I do giant sets, which are usually like four sets of different exercises that are intended to work the agonist and the antagonist of whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm focused on. After I do all 4 sets, back to back to back, I take a 20-second break. It's burning at that point. And then I do it again. That's 8 sets. And I do this probably within, 3-4 minutes. And then I try to see if I can do another giant set. And if I can, I do it. If I can't, I have to wait. I have to breathe. But what I've done differently in the last 2 weeks, if I feel my energy stores being depleted, I go ahead and I uptake carbohydrates. That is a quick fuel. How does this relate to your spiritual journey? For some of us, we're built like a workhorse. I'm built like a workhorse, not physically. I wish. I so wish. I would love to have those thighs, that booty. I don't. I'm getting there. I've been programmed since childhood to be able to handle a massive workload with no complaints. That is a part of my personality. That is a part of my character. That is a part of my intensity. My problem is not that I can't do the work. My problem is I don't know when to give myself kindness, compassion, and grace and take a moment. So I've learned I'm going to take that moment. You want that maximized growth? You need to take that moment. If I don't take that moment, if I don't take in that fuel, that encouragement sometimes you receive from your friends can serve as fuel. That pause where you're like, okay, I'm okay. I have to just breathe. That sometimes serves as that little spike of fuel. You want to maximize your effort? You want the greatest return for the effort you put into something? You have to begin to understand how you work, how you function. And if you're not built like a workhorse, and it's hard for you to get things done, what you need to work on, rather than forcing yourself, is learning how to increase your stamina, learning how to desensitize yourself to all the different challenges that are occurring in your life. Those challenges are not designed to destroy you. They're designed to destroy the parts of you that are no longer aligned with what is being built for you by you. So get in alignment. Get in alignment with what needs to happen for your greatest benefit. You can continue, and I had, this is what I said to myself. You can continue and work out 3 hours a day, every day, not giving yourself time for recovery, not taking in the appropriate macro levels, and you won't grow. You'll be frustrated and you won't grow. Right? Because the last several months, I've been in a frustrated state and I haven't been paying attention to the way the adjustments in my macros have been affecting me. I've just been frustrated. The more muscle mass that I work so hard to build that I lose, I get more frustrated. So, what's the answer? Pause, slow down, make the necessary adjustments that you need to make in order to get the greatest returns. So what does that mean? I've been taking way more naps. I've been eating different type of foods in order to maximize what that food will do to me, what it will do for me. Recognizing some shifts in my workout were needed. And that's it. Minimal change, maximum output. Maximum output. I measured my thighs. I haven't gained much weight. I think like 3 or so pounds in the last 2 weeks. My thighs have increased by 1.5 inches each in the last 2 weeks. And I haven't been slamming my thighs. As a matter of fact, I eased up a little bit. I eased up and I focused on the quality of my movement. If you are simply working on maximizing the amount of tangible growth, meaning you're doing everything you possibly can so others can recognize how much more spiritual you are, how much more evolved you've become, are you really maximizing? You see, I looked at my legs in the mirror the other day. I think it was yesterday. Babe, I didn't just increase in size. There's fucking separation. Not just not just the side sweep of my quads, not just the teardrop returning. I see separation in my inner thighs. I see separation. I see the band, my IT band. I see that on the side of my legs. I'm like, bitch, slow down. Slow down. Don't get too happy. You still got to work on that more. Right? This is just a part of me finally slowly seeing I'm dialing it in just right. It's a happy thing. It's something to celebrate. When you see accomplishment, you should celebrate that. But don't think the accomplishments that you have right now are the end all be all. There's more to you. There's more to life. And in this period where you're going to be given a break from all of your stress, all this frantic energy, you're going to begin to realize like, okay, these are some of the things I need to adjust just a little bit. I need to take it a little bit easier on myself. This rush for growth, this rush for this rush for that, right? We don't need to do that. We need to push. Yes, we do. We need to push ourselves in a gentle way, in a way and a level of intensity that's appropriate for where you're currently at within your emotions and your thoughts. It's time to love yourself. It's time to love yourself in a way that you've never loved yourself before. It's time. For many of you, you're in a dark space. That dark space is not evidence of your failure. It's not evidence of you being lost or evidence of you freaking doing the wrong thing and messing up. Not at all. The darker the space you're in, the more that serves as a confirmation that a new day is about to dawn. We used to travel through the night all the time. For several years, my family did this. And the evening is beautiful. As you get deeper into the night, that's beautiful too. But there's this point, usually around like maybe 3 or 4 a.m., where it seems like it is the darkest. It is the most desolate on that road. And we'd often be in the middle of nowhere during that time. Like, I'm talking desert, wilderness, nowhere. And whenever I had experienced that time, I'd get quiet within myself. And then I would start to get excited. Why? I would look far into the horizon. Why? Because I knew any moment now, I'm going to see this dull glow from behind a mountain or a hill. That means the sun is about to rise. It's about to be a new day. It's the same thing with where you're at right now. As dark as life seems, as dark as your journey has been, it's getting darker, isn't it? It's feeling much darker, isn't it? That's to give you an awareness of how bright the next day will be. You see, for many of us, we've become light blind. And what that means is you've been so hyperfixated on staring at the light, being light this, light that, light worker, light warrior, light of the light, 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 light. Have you ever tried to stare at the sun for a prolonged period? And I don't mean at the start of the day or at the end. I mean when the sun is at its zenith, noontime. I wouldn't do it if I were you. Burn your retinas. Burn your eyeball. But if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you go into the house, everything looks super dark. That's being light blind. You have no idea of the actuality of your circumstance if all you're doing is trying to exist in the light. Sometimes you need to exist in a space of shadow, a space of even darkness for a period, not for too long, for a period, so that you can recalibrate and understand exactly what it is the light is doing for you. We are starting a period of new beginnings, and in order to begin something, you must first have an ending. Endings are precursors to new beginnings. So during this period where you're going to have a break, you're going to need to make a decision. Are you going to let go of the old? Are you going to let go of the things that have continued to bother you, things that have continued to try? Or are you going to continue to hold on to it? Continue to see yourself as having been done wrong, not having the same opportunities as others, and therefore it's not fair. Try thinking of this. Okay, I won't say. Michael says no. um, I'll remain in my space of peace and gentleness today. um, that's a choice that I'm making. It's a choice that I'm making. This is how I'm choosing to use my will. Okay? Choose how you will use your power and the stage that you are in. If you look at this imagery, look at all these different stages that the moon enters into over and over and over, right? You go through stages too, waxing and waning, waxing and waning. As you go through those stages, you need to exit out of that void space you're existing in. See, this is how we are feeling. We're feeling exhausted. We're feeling in the dark. We're feeling as though things are not fair, not right, and all these other whatever. It's okay. Acknowledge how you feel and then, I don't know, carry forward. Which way is forward? Well, which way are you facing? Is forward going north? Well, I mean, if you're facing west, is this west? West. Then no, forward would be west. If you're facing northwest, then it would be northwest. So forward is contingent on whatever direction you're facing. If you are facing your past, then moving forward means entering into that space of your history so you could take a look at what you've lived through and how those experiences were designed to serve you and your growth and the development of your maturity. If you let go, you will be light years ahead of where you think you're going to end up. You'll travel your process much faster if you're not carrying unnecessary weight. So what are you going to do? Are you going to allow yourself? Are you going to allow yourself to let go of the things that are unnecessary? You don't need to forget about what's happened in the past. You don't need to pretend like you never experienced whatever that hardship was, but you do need to let go of your death grip on that circumstance. You just kind of do. Why? Well, it's going to kind of be hard to move forward in life or sideways or backwards if you're gripping tightly onto a singular moment. You don't need to forget, and you don't need to pretend you're okay with what you experienced. During this break that your soul is giving you, you simply need to open your hand. You need to relax your grip, and you'll begin to see just how tired you've been, how cramped your muscles are, and how much rest you actually need at this point. It's time for compassion for self, right? It's time to not feel bad for yourself, not feel sorry for yourself, but to understand you've been through a lot and now it's time to rest. Now it's time to replenish. Now it's time to be gentle with yourself. You don't need to be hopeful in this period because all you need is to exist in the here and now. I feel like hopefulness, if you're existing in a space of hope, and this is just my personal opinion, if you're existing in a space of hope, that tells me that you're existing in a space of disempoweredness. You're feeling very disempowered. You're kind of living partially in the future while you are being yanked by the past and you're being torn in half. And because you're being torn in half, you don't know which direction to go. And so you're just kind of hoping that something outside of you will rescue you from your plight. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. Exist in the now, because really the future is nothing more than the moment after the now, the breath after the now. See, this is a future, and this is a future, and this is a future, and this is the future, this is the future, this is a future. And that it continues. The future is nothing but a string of moments that are in the now. You can't guarantee what happens next, but I promise you, if you're so fixated on trying to control what happens next, you won't be present enough in the now to be able to generate the ability to manifest and control what comes next. So what are you going to do? You can't exist in the past either. See, anxiety and panic disorders, they're kind of rooted in your fear about future events that can't be controlled. Depression is rooted in your inability to let go of or process and accept the past. You can't change the past. So, what solution did I find? Because I'm all about finding solutions. What solution did I find? Well, I've accepted the past. But how can you accept the past? Did the person apologize? I realized they didn't need to apologize. But I mean, they did wrong. Right. Doesn't mean they didn't do wrong. Well, then how can you let that go? Well, because I realize continuing to hold on to it is continuing to give them the authority to impress upon me how I should feel about myself and my current. So what does that mean? I've already lived through whatever I lived through. So when it pops up, I'll spend time trying to maybe shift 1 degree at a time how I see what I've lived through. Not try and convince myself that it's okay at all. Okay, for example, for many people, especially those of us who are in Gen X, we kind of were left to raise ourselves. We were. We absolutely were. Right? You kind of were left to your own devices. Many of us felt very much abandoned, rejected, neglected, all of these things that are very negative. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but how does that help you? Because when I felt that way, when I thought that way, when I saw my childhood in that way, it created a type of rage, like fucking rage inside me. And that's how I lived most of my life. How did I let that go? Well, because one day I realized, holy shit. Holy shit. I needed to be left on my own so that my parents and my siblings' distorted thoughts, distorted perceptions, beliefs, and programs could not be infused into me. Because I was left alone most of my life, most of my childhood life. I was free to develop my perception of the world around me very organically. This is why I'm able to think the way I do. This is why I'm not confined to the programs and the desire to fit into the mold and be the societal norm and all of those things. I really couldn't care less, to be honest. What if people think badly of you? Well, I mean, people have done that my whole life anyways. What's new? Seriously, what's new? I've been thought of as being difficult. I'm hard to control, hard to manage. I'm a pain in the ass because I won't just agree. If you try and force me to do something, I won't fucking do it. Make me. I would rather. Oh, and yeah, all my relatives know this. Like, don't even bother with her. If she's going to disagree with you, don't even bother because you're not going to convince her of nothing. Good. Because I'm not trying to convince you of nothing. All right. So I take a look at my childhood, my earlier life, early adulthood. Fucking perfect for what I need to do in life. You know how common it is for an adult or even an age mate who can't do what you can do to try and convince you that's impossible? Do you know how common that is? You know why I exist in a unlimited way? I'm very limitless in my existence. Do you know why? Well, because I didn't have anyone willing to bother to tell me I can't do this and I can't do that. They didn't want to bother with me. They didn't want to bother with the argument that would ensue, because the more you try and force me to agree with you, the more I will rebel against what you're doing. And there's no point in threatening me either, because you threaten me, I'm just going to be like, go ahead. Go ahead. I remember one time my father got so upset. He created some storyline in his head that I was a liar and I was meeting boys or whatever. But I was with my best friend and her mother after school because I was part of student council stuff. We were going to be working on homecoming props, and her mother decided to drop us off at McDonald's, which was down the road. It was maybe a quarter mile down the road from our school, and we walked back to the school after we ate. And my father had it in his head that I was a lying little WHORE. So he came to the school early. And I guess he had cussed quite a few people out at school. Because when I arrived, they're like, dude, your dad's here. And he's hella pissed. I was like, okay, well, I told them I was staying after school. Right? So he tells me I can't stay after school. He tells me to get in the car. And once we're in the car, he tells me as we're driving away that he should slap me. And I said, well, if it's too late, no one can see that. You should turn around, slap me over there where everyone can see. I don't care. I don't give a shit. You think I give a shit? I really didn't care. Because in my mind and my heart, you strike my face, you give me a valid reason to fucking forever hate you. I already don't like you very much. Give me a reason. And he knows this about me. He knows this about me. I'm literally the only one that didn't get disciplined. Y'all know what that means. Growing up, I'm the only one. So, should I still be angry about my childhood? No. Everything happened exactly as it should. Exactly as it should, including being raised in proximity to a clinical narcissist, including that. Should I be grateful for that? I am. Do I have a relationship with a narcissist? No, I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. They play nice for a certain period. And then once you're comfortable, they go right back to doing what they do. I'm good. No, thank you. So, Emmy, did you disown your father? I mean, we share genetics. That will always be my father. Will he ever have access to me? No. What if he tries? Oh, guys. He's scared of no one but me. He knows he's not allowed. He wouldn't dare. And that is showing your sovereignty. Allow yourself to recognize everything that's happened in your life is for your benefit. Might not have been pretty. It might have been something that you felt was unfair. It might even have been ugly. It is what it is. Did I deserve that? No. Did I start that? No. So how can I accept that? Well, do you not see the person that sits before you today? I'm not a byproduct of my father's behaviors. I'm not a byproduct of my childhood. My childhood gave me the components and cultivated the parts of my character that then gave me the power to choose to be who I am right now. I am who I am right now because I chose to heal. I chose to allow myself to choose healing. It says a lot that out of my immediate family, I'm literally the only one with no heart failure. Mm-hmm. The heart. I saw a video yesterday. What I'm feeling right now is not for me. What I feel right now is for everyone else but me. The heart is where you store the pain and the hatred from the things you've experienced in life. So, knowing that my mother and my siblings all have congestive heart failure, that's hard. That is very hard for me to accept. But it's not something within my control. It's something that can be reversed, but it has to be their choice, right? It has to be their choice. So as long as you hold on to the things that aren't yours, and many people might hear what I say and be like, damn, this girl is messy. How can you talk about your father that way? Because I am not my father's secret keeper anymore. I let go of the burden of carrying his sins on my shoulders. I did not do what he did to everyone. My heart is healthy. I have no hatred because I own none of his actions or his legacy. He couldn't buy me, he couldn't bribe me, he couldn't threaten me. I am my own person. And if he wanted me to share beautiful, lovely stories, he should have created a more beautiful and lovely childhood for me and my siblings. His actions are not for me to carry anymore. And I'm not ashamed of my childhood. I'm not ashamed of my family. I don't share this to badmouth anyone. I share it because guess what? Growing up, everyone thought I had a silver spoon life. My father knew to joke around with me in front of other people. You know how many people were convinced that I have such an amazing father, an amazing relationship, so close. Me and my father are best friends, that I'm so spoiled and so loved because for my first car, I was given a Mercedes-Benz convertible 560 SL. And some would say, oh, you're just ungrateful. I wasn't given that car because I wanted it. I was given that car because I'm the show pony. It was a way to present to the world that my family is wealthy. It was never about me. And I could see that. See, for those of you who are here, you can see beyond the reasoning that people give. You can see to the root of what is actually being done, what was intended. Stop pretending you don't have the gifts that you have. And don't be angry anymore. Save that anger as the fuel for your rise. Don't pretend you're not angry, but you don't have to continue to fan the flame that's burning you from the inside out. Own your life and everything that's happened in it. Own it. Do I need to be angry? No. The reality is this. My father has the conditions that he has. And in his head, he did the best that he possibly could. Okay, I accept that. That's what you believe. That's not what I live, but that's what you believe. There's peace in my world. Maybe if you can take that stance with whoever it is that is currently being used to create all sorts of instability in your life, you can come to a point of peace and centeredness within yourself. They will never give you permission. My father till this day is still waiting for me to apologize and not be angry. Well, listen here, mister, I'm not angry. I just see you for who you are, and you will not be allowed around me or my children. That's that. That's that. Do I need him to like cry and be sorry? No, bro, live your life. I mean, you did the things you did. I hope the money was worth it. Go live your life. Live your life. I don't want anyone to suffer. Remember, I'm at peace within myself. If you want to be at peace within yourself, you have to let go of this desire for someone else to feel what they made you feel. They're not capable of healing like you. That's why they don't feel as deeply as you. So rather than waiting for them to suffer the way you were made to suffer, use this period to hold yourself, to clear those wounds, stitch them shut, rest, rejuvenate. There's a lot of work that's going to be coming. And the work that we're going to be doing, it requires you to be at tip-top shape and form, the strongest you've ever been internally, as well as emotionally and physically. Every aspect of you needs to be allowed to rest in this period. You have to take a time out. You have to take a time out. You have to. Why? Well, if you refuse to take a time out, and I'm one of those people, you have to ask yourself why. The reasoning that I came to, the understanding that I developed, is that part of the reason I refuse to take a time out is because I want to keep myself so busy that I don't have the time, the energy, or the ability to actually face myself. So in the last however many months, probably since at least December, if not earlier than December. If you guys have been with me for a while, you've been seeing me systematically slowing down. Not as many live streams, not as many expedites, not as many fire ceremonies. I'm letting my life slow down in certain ways so that I can finally face myself where I'm at. And it's not that I'm afraid, it's that it's such an easy coping mechanism to fall into. I get triggered about something small, I revert right back to it. It's not about never having that coping mechanism rise back up. It's about making it easier and easier for you to realize earlier and earlier that you've re-entered into that coping mechanism and what triggered you to do that. And if you can enter into that process, you know what happens? You begin to identify the root of the wound you are struggling to heal. Ain't that some shit? All you have to do is have the courage to face yourself. You won't do it with intuition. This happens through you facing your in real life circumstance and your in real life emotions and reactions towards your in real life experiences. Means you have to be fully present. You're not going to woo woo your way through this. You're not going to meditate your way through this. You're not going to energy work your way through this. You have to be present so that you can get through this. For some of you, this is more than just your earthly existence. For some of you, this has a lot to do with past life stuff bleeding over into this. This is the lifetime where everyone who is present is being given the opportunity to choose to clear out their karmic ledger board. I've said this over the years, and it hasn't changed. This is really the lifetime where you can clear that out so that when we enter into the next lifetime, you're open to learn new lessons. It's like not clearing out that karmic ledger board is like the equivalent of leaving your books and your homework and your used up school supplies in your backpack for next year. Like you're going to have new books. You're going to need new pencils and pens and markers and all of that. You're going to need all new stuff because you're going to learn new things. You're going to be building from what you learned the previous year. So in your next existence, you're going to be building from what you've learned in this existence. So you got to clear that stuff out. You have things from kindergarten in your backpack and you're about to enter 12th grade. It's time to clear it out. It's not a big deal. Just things need to be cleared out. Doesn't mean you have to throw it away. You can put it in a memento box or something like that, right? Just because you haven't been able to fully process your trauma from certain periods of your life doesn't mean you failed, and you don't have to force yourself to do it right then and there before you can move forward. Put it in a nice little bejeweled box and put it on the shelf for a moment. You can go back to it every here and now and process a little bit here, a little bit there. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. During this period, you can kind of look back at some of the things and see what you want to process. Once you begin to do that, you enter into a limitless state. That's when the fun begins. Once you enter into a limitless state, you can then begin to consciously choose what you will manifest for your next experience. You know what's hilarious? Well, to me, it's hilarious. There are certain things that Soul has been telling me about what will happen this year. And it's about some of my content being spread very far and wide. And I'm kind of just like, whatever. So I have a social media person who takes care of a lot of that stuff for me. And then I was told recently that one of my content, some video, and I don't know if I want to post it, but one of my videos is supposed to just really go balls to the wall viral. I don't want to post this video. I'm telling you guys right now. And as if I needed another reminder, apparently the platform that I broadcast from, because it broadcasts across all my platforms simultaneously, it apparently has been taking snippets. AI has been taking snippets of my videos, and it ranks it by percentage of the possibility of going viral. And I was like, okay, Soul, you're not doing enough, girl. You're not doing enough, girl. So I don't want to post it because it's of me doing an exorcism on video. That's why I don't want to post it. It's literally like it recorded. The exorcism was recorded. I don't know. I don't typically do extractions on video. I do it via email. And this person had a session, and it was like, I was like, oh shit, I can't leave you like this. Oh my fucking god. And I was like, okay, I don't do this, but I can't leave you like this, so I'm gonna have to do this. I know it's what I do, but I'm just like, to me, it's not scary, but I think people will be scared. I think people will be scared. So I just got a notification. The fun continues. Anyways, all right. So be fearless, but it's in reverse. I think soul is letting us know we have this unnecessary fear. Okay, message received, sir. Michael says, soul is letting you know. What a jerk. It's letting us know that we have unnecessary fear. We'll see. All right, let me just see what the last cards are. Okay. I like this. This is all confirmation. Okay, revision and consistency. You have to revise what it is you're choosing to be consistent with. So for many of us, what we're choosing to be consistent with is being toxic to ourselves and living a limited existence. You got to change that. You got to revise that. Okay. The next card, unity in reverse and balance. The reason you're not balanced is because you keep rejecting parts of yourself. So if you can reunify all your parts, the parts that you're ashamed of and everything, you'll feel much more balanced. You'll feel much more empowered within your life and your journey. And then, of course, fortitude in reverse and repetition. These are the same cycles that you've been through. You've been not wanting to repeat the cycles, but you don't know how to stop the repetition. Well, you have to fortify yourself. You have to allow yourself to get to a point where you feel fortified. You feel supported by your energy, by your soul, by your environment. And then you could like really just go forward with it. And then, of course, alchemy and specialization. Once you change the things that are needing to be changed, just so that you can flow easier, not because you're broken or not good enough right now. This is so you can flow easier. What will happen is you'll step into your specialization. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why demons continue to exist. They trigger you and trigger you and trigger you. And they encourage those who are of weak consciousness, meaning they're not fully embodying themselves or their journey. They use those people either by inhabiting them or by encouraging them to behave in a way that creates adversity for you. And that adversity really has a singular goal: to facilitate your process of fortifying yourself, to facilitate the adjustments of your character that will help to bring to fruition the part of your life where you live in a specialized manner. And I don't mean specialized like you're better than everyone, because, you know, we have to say these things for the people. Okay, I'll stop. Michael says, hey, I'm going to be nice today. But yeah, doesn't mean you're better than everyone. It just means you're now going to be better suited to live the purpose that you're designed to live. So allow it. And quick reminder before I go, thank you for the reminder, Lindsay. I will be having the 333 portal fire ceremony tomorrow. If you would like me to work on you, if you know you're ready to really bolster your growth, your ascension mechanics, allow for some of that healing to take place, click on that QR code or the link in the comment, and it will take you exactly where you need to go so that you can get your expedite. I'll be live tomorrow in the evening, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the fire ceremony. I'll probably be live again sometime tomorrow, late morning. Just to remind you guys, I'll be live in the evening, and also for a nice little message from Soul. So I got to get going. Please make sure you follow, share, like, and comment or whatever, whatever it is that we do on the social media platform you're at. And I will see you guys again very soon.